Good afternoon to everyone. Today I will be discussing to you the following topics about principles and theories of language acquisition. So these are the following topics that I will be discussing today. So first is theories of language acquisition. Second is bilingualism and multilingualism. Third is parts of speech. So um, let's discuss first the theories of language acquisition. So theories of language acquisition, why do we need or what is the importance of theories of language acquisition? So language acquisition is important to be studied in order for us to understand um, what are the different factors that affects on a child or on a student in order for him or her to learn or to acquire another language easily. So nature of learning. So in theories of language acquisition, there is a nature of learning. It says that learning is a process. Why? Learning is a process because it is a process of um, transferring knowledge to one another. For example, transferring knowledge from your mentors or from your professors to your students. So it is a process of transferring information, knowledge, and experiences. Next is learning involves experiences and training of an individual, which helps to change the behavior. So learning involves experiences and training of an individual, which helps to change his behavior. So, experience is a must in order for you to share. You can share your experiences to your students, or you can, as a student, you can also share your experiences to your professors or instructors, in order for you to understand and to learn from each other. Next is learning prepare the individual to adjust and adapt in the situations. So later on, we will be discussing to you why why it's said that learning prepare the individual to adjust and adapt in the situation. Next is all learning is purposeful and goal oriented. So of course, learning we are studying because we want to learn something new. We want to acquire new knowledge. We want to add more knowledge. We want to know more about a specific topic or about a specific subject, and that is the purpose or that is the goal of learning, to acquire, to learn. That's why all learning is purposeful and goal oriented. Learning is universal and continuous. Same as it is a continuous process and never ending process. So learning is universal and continuous because it is as we become more professional, learning never stops. Even though we finish studying in college, we finish our course already, or the learning as a professor or as a professional doesn't stop. It because learning could grow or could develop. The informations that we already know could vary, could change in the future. That's why learning is universal and continuous. So let's proceed with the principle of behaviorist theory. So sa theory na to, sinasabi na behaviorism is a learning theory that studies observable and measurable behavioral changes, which result from stimulus response associations made by the learner. This theory stems from the work of Pavlov, who studied animal behavior and was able to. So dito sa in this type or in this principle of behaviorist theory, Pavlov believed that a student or a child could learn or could acquire information or knowledge through changing his behavior. So the best example for this behavior or for this principle, which is behaviorist theory, is yung implementation of English-only policy. So, di ba, kapag may isang estudyante or let's say may mga estudyante po tayo na um, hindi masyadong gumagamit ng English language kapag nakikipag-usap sa loob ng classroom. So, may tinatawag tayo na English only policy na which is ini-implement ng mga English teacher sa kapag every time na magtuturo sila or every time na magkaklase sila ng English subject nila, at pinapatupad nila yung policy na yun, na kung saan yung policy na yun is sinasabi na hindi ka pwedeng magsalita, you're not allowed to speak in Tagalog. You're allowed to speak but using the English language. You will communicate, you will speak using the English language. And then, may mga ibang teachers na naglalagay ng punishment, like, let's say, for example, kunyari, kapag nagsalita ka ng Tagalog during the implementation of EOP, pwede kang maiwan sa loob ng classroom para maglinis ng buong classroom or ikaw yung magiging, tawag dito, ikaw yung magiging cleaners, ikaw lang yung may iwan para maglinis ng buong classroom. So, in that way, behaviorist theory, pumapasok yung behaviorist theory po doon sa pamamagitan ng behaviorist theory na i-encourage yung mga estudyante na um, mag-aral and mag-exert ng effort para matutunang magsalita ng English o magsalita gamit yung English language kasi mapapaisip sila or mafe-feel afraid sila na magsalita ng Tagalog po dahil ayaw nila kunyaring maparusahan o kunyari ayaw nilang maiwan sa loob ng classroom para maglinis. Kaya ang gagawin nila is either mananahimik na lang sila, hindi sila magsasalita, or they will exert effort to learn and how to speak using the English language. So, what is language? Language is the primary method of human communication, but there are also other ways to communicate without the use of language. So, as we all know, language is the main tool of communication. It is what we use in our daily lives in order for us to understand each other and to communicate with other people. So, there are different languages being used in different places or different places around the world. So here are the examples of languages. So as you can see on the picture, there's an English, Spanish, Arabic, Mandarin, Portuguese, Japanese, and Korean language. So, second language acquisition. Second language acquisition, sometimes called second language learning, otherwise referred to as language to acquisition. It's the process by which people learned a second language. Second language acquisition is also the scientific discipline devoted to studying that process. So, yung second language acquisition is the study of how we learn or how we acquire language, other or another language that we wanted to learn. So the following people propose their different theories on how a child or how a students acquire or learn another language aside from their mother tongue. So let's begin with Chomsky, which is Chomskyan idea. So Chomsky believed that children are both with some knowledge of language already in their heads. Obviously, that knowledge has to be very abstract because the innate knowledge doesn't know what language the child is going to be born speaking. Obviously, it would be useless to be born with individual words of English or Russian or whatever, because it would be no use if you're there in the wrong language. So it has to be very abstract. So the idea, for example, is that children are born with grammatical categories like empty boxes. So Chomsky believed that a child was born already with an inborn knowledge or with innate knowledge, and what you're just going to do is to develop or help that child or student to develop what language he has to learn. You are going to, as a parent, parang ikaw yung magsisilbing taga-field or taga-puno ng kaalaman doon sa bata. So Vygotsky, social constructivism. Human development is socially situated and knowledge is constructed through interaction with others. So si Vygotsky naniniwala naman na ang pagkatuto ng isang bata ay nakadepende sa interaction sa ibang tao. So as as an example, di ba, parang we as a student, may mga times din po na na natututo tayo um, through interaction with others. So for example, during reporting or during extracurricular activities na related sa course natin, which is BSED or taking language course, diba? And in that way, we also learn through interaction with others. We acquire or we learn how to communicate. We learn how to develop confidence in ourselves in order for us to speak fluently in English. So next is Cartesian linguistics by Descartes. So like Plato, he believed in the innateness of language because he thought it reflected the general rationality of human beings. So tulad ng nauna kanina, si Descartes and Plato, naniniwala sila na yung isang bata is pinanganak na meron ng kakayahan or inborn or innateness or inborn knowledge sa kung saan ikaw na lang as a parent or as a mentor, ikaw na ang bahalang magpuno ng mga kaalaman doon sa bata tungkol sa lingwaheng dapat na matutunan. Next is Theory of Behaviorism by Skinner. According to behaviorism, a radical variant of which was put forward by Skinner, all behavior is no more than a response to external stimuli, and there's no innate programming within a human being to learn a language at birth. So, as what I have explained earlier about the principle of behaviorist theory, a child will learn through a child will be able to learn if you will be able to change his behavior. So best example for this is yung sa EOP na po, which is English implementing English only policy during English classes. So in that way, you will be able to change a student or a child's behavior na dati if dati hindi siya marunong or hindi siya nagsasalita ng English or hindi siya nakikipag-communicate to English through um, English, ngayon, magagawa mo na siyang ma-encourage para baguhin yon, which is magagawa mo siyang ma-encourage para ma, uh, mag-boost yung confidence niya to communicate using the English language. Okay, next is acculturation model by Schumann. This theory doesn't deal with the process of language learning as we normally think of it, such as how we acquire grammar or listening skills, but rather focuses on social and psychological aspects that influence our success. So, si Schumann naman, naniniwala siya na yung isang bata or isang estudyante is na nag-acquire or natututo sa pamamagitan ng um, pakikipag-interact din. So parang um, same with Vygotsky, which is a student or a child learns to acquire other language through um, through interaction with other people. So next is Krashen's. Stephen Krashen's monitor model in fact consists of several distinct hypotheses, which make up what is probably the most cited theory in second language acquisition. There's so much to take away from Krashen's theory that I'll just let you pursue the link given for details and give a rundown of the highlights here. So yun, so si Krashen's naniniwala siya na language acquisition is subconscious and results from informal and natural communication. So naniniwala siya na pwede tayong matuto through informal and natural communication. Language learning is conscious and driven by error correction. So parang um, as a student, naniniwala din tayo na if you make mistakes, it means you are learning. So si Crashes, naniniwala din siya sa ganun, na parang language learning is conscious and driven by error correction. So um, natututo ang isang estudyante kapag nagkakamali siya. Siyempre, kapag nagkakamali, tuturuan mo or itatama mo yung pagkakamali ng estudyante. So, natututo siya sa ganoong paraan. Pwede tayong matuto sa ganoong way. So, next is grammar structures are acquired in a predictable order. So, grammar structures are acquired in a predictable order. Naniniwala siya na grammar structures are acquired in a predictable order is because of, di ba, pero sa English language, meron ng mga nakaset na rules kung paano ginagamit yung word or how we are going to use or the meaning or the usage of that specific word. So it's easy for us or it's easy for some students to acquire or to learn the English language when they follow rules and the rules that in using English or in speaking English language. Kaya naniniwala si Crashians na grammar structures are required in a predictable order. Language acquisitions occurs when with comprehensible input. In example, hearing or reading things that are just slightly above our current language level. So we Crashians believe that we could also learn by just hearing or reading things that are just slightly above our current language level. So same with the first bullet na kung saan we can learn through informal learning or natural communication. A monitor is anything that corrects your language performance and pressures one to communicate correctly and not just conveying meaning, such as a language teacher who corrects you when you make a grammatical mistake. So as what I have said earlier, just like the grammar's language learning is conscious and driven by error correction, a student or a child learns another language through committing mistakes and then being corrected by his or her professor. Okay, so let's proceed now with, okay, so let's proceed now with bilingualism and multilingualism. So, what is bilingualism? Bilingualism is the ability to speak two different languages proficiently. So, for example, a student can be able to, a student can speak Filipino and English proficiently. So, what do you call in that ability as bilingualism? What is a bilingual? So, bilingual is refers to the person who speaks two different languages proficiently. It is the one who speaks two different languages. So if bilingualism refers to the ability, bilingual refers to the person who speaks two languages. So there are different types of bilingualism, which is early bilingualism, and under that, simultaneous bilingualism and consecutive bilingualism. Next is late bilingualism. Third, additive bilingualism. And fourth is passive bilingualism. So let's identify or define each type of bilingualism. So let's start with early bilingualism. So early bilingualism, under that is simultaneous early bilingualism. Simultaneous early bilingualism refers to a child who learns two languages at the same time from birth. So in this type of bilingualism, it says that the language was learned by a child, or the two different languages learned from was learned by a child from birth. So, for example, let's say a 4-year-old child was able to learn already Filipino and English. So that's what we call simultaneous early bilingualism. Successive early bilingualism refers to a child who has already partially acquired a first language and then learns a second language early in childhood. So in this type of bilingualism, it says that um, a child was able to learn or acquire the first language at the early age and then learns the second language early in childhood also. So for example, let's say a child or a 4-year-old child was able to learn how to speak or how to use um, Filipino Filipino language, and then at the age of 5 or 4 and a half, he was also able to learn how to speak in English. So that's what you call successive early bilingualism. A child was a child learn or acquire the knowledge partially or acquire the first knowledge and then acquire the first language and then after that learns the second language. Next is late bilingualism. Late bilingualism refers to the bilingualism when the second language is learned after the age of 6 or 7. So this type of bilingualism is learned after childhood. So it is mostly at the age of, or it occurs mostly at the age of 6 or 7. So when a child is learned, or when a child learns to use the second language at the age of 6 or 7 is called late bilingualism. Next is additive bilingualism. The term additive bilingualism refers to the situation when a person is acquired the two languages in a balanced manner. It is a strong bilingualism. So additive bilingualism refers to a balanced manner or to a balanced use of um, two different languages. Let's say, for example, the child or the student was able to speak English and Filipino both proficiently. That's what you call additive bilingualism. As a child can be able to speak Filipino and English proficiently. Pareho niya nagagamit or pareho siya nakakapagsalita ng maayos at proficiently gamit yung English and Filipino. Next is passive bilingualism. Refers to being able to understand a second language without being able to speak it. Children who respond in a relevant way in English when they are addressed in French could become passive bilinguals. So in this passive bilinguals, it says that you are also you are not just you are not really or you can learn or you can communicate with other people without even speaking or using the second language that you know. So by just showing your response that you understand um, what the other person have said to you, it's called passive bilingualism. So, what is multilingualism? Multilingualism is the use of more than one language, either by an individual speaker or by a group of speakers. So, if bilingualism refers to the use of two languages, multilingualism is the use of more than one languages. It's a use of two or more than two languages. So, a person who can speak multiple languages is known as a polyglot or a multilingual. So, if a person who knows how to speak or how to use two different languages proficiently is called bilingual. A person who can speak multiple languages is known as a multilingual or a polyglot. So, why it is important for us to why multilingualism is important? Multilingualism is important, enable for us to understand the other people that we encounter in our daily lives. It is important for us to communicate also with them, and to understand what they are saying, and also to understand, enable for them to understand us what we are trying to convey or to say to them. So, the best example or one of the most popular polyglot or multilingual in our country is Dr. Jose Rizal. Rizal was fluent in 22 languages: Hebrew, Filipino, Ilocano, Visayan, Subanon, Chinese, Latin, Spanish, Greek, English, French, German, Arabic, Malay, Sanskrit, Dutch, Japanese, Catalan, Italian, Portuguese, Swedish, and Russian, and had a knack for switching from one language to another when he was writing. Okay, so let's proceed now with the parts of speech. So, what is parts of speech? In traditional grammar, a part of speech is a category of words that have similar grammatical properties. So parts of speech refers to how the word is being used, or how it refers to the usage of the word, how the word is used in a sentence. So there are different parts of speech, and these are the followings: noun, pronoun, verb, adjective, adverb, preposition, conjunction, interjection, and article or determiner. So let's begin with noun. So a noun is a name of a person, a place, animal, thing, ideas, or events. So a noun is a word that functions as the name of a specific object or a set of objects, such as living creatures, places, actions, qualities, states of existence, or ideas. So for example, dog. Dog is the name of an animal. Next is bag. So bag is the name of thing. Okay, so next is pronoun. In linguistics and grammar, a pronoun is a word that substitutes for a noun or a noun phrase. Pronouns have traditionally been regarded as one of the parts of speech, but some modern theories would not consider them to form a single class, in view of the variety of functions they perform cross-linguistically. So pronoun is usually used to substitute the noun. Examples of pronouns are I, we, you, he, she, it, they, this, that, those, who, which, that, us, each, all, everyone, either, one, both, any, such, somebody, myself, herself, himself, themselves, ourselves, mine, yours, his, hers. So these let's try to use it in a sentence. So examples. I am studying in National Polytechnic College of Science and Technology. So the pronouns used in the first sentence is I. Okay, so second sentence. Donna loves animal. She loves to play with her dog. So Donna, the pronoun used in the second sentence is she, as it sub, as it is as it substitutes the noun, which is Donna. Okay, next is Brent. Third, Brent will celebrate his birthday on school. So, um, the pronoun used in the third sentence is his. It is the substitute for the noun Brent. So pronouns is used in order for you to, or in order for the noun not to be redundant in the sentence. Like for example, Donna loves animal. Donna loves to play with her dog. So pronouns is used to avoid redundancy of noun in a sentence. Next is verb. A verb from the Latin verbum meaning word is a word that in syntax conveys an action. So verb is refers to an action word. It is a word that expresses action. And these are the examples of verb. So examples of verb: being, is, seem, stay, feel, look, smell, taste, wear, grow, remain, sound, and turn. Okay, so these are the examples of verbs. So let's try to use it in a sentence. So examples, Jennifer walked to the store. So the verb used in the first sentence is walk. Next is Amber ran to the drugstore to buy medicine for her father. So the verb used in the second sentence is run. Third sentence is brushing teeth is important. So the verb used in the third sentence is brushing teeth. Next is adjective. In linguistics, an adjective is a word that modifies a noun or a noun phrase or describes its referent. Its semantic role is to change information given by the noun. So, in short, adjective is refers to describing word. It describes the noun or pronoun. So these are the examples of adjectives: adorable, agreeable, amused, annoying, ashamed, adventurous, alert, angry, anxious, attractive, aggressive, alive, annoyed, arrogant, and average. So let's try to use it in a sentence. So examples. They live in a beautiful house. Okay, so the adjective used in the first sentence is beautiful. Beautiful describes the house. Next is he writes meaningless letters. So the adjective used in the second sentence is meaningless. So what is meaningless? Letters. Next is Ben is an adorable baby. So the adjective used in the third sentence is adorable. Okay. Next is adverb. An adverb is a word or an expression that modifies a verb, adjective, another adverb, determiner, clause, preposition, or sentence. So for example, abnormally, absent-mindedly, accidentally, actually, adventurously, and afterwards. Okay, so these are the examples of adverb. So adverb usually ends with ly. It answers how the action is done. So for example, he swims well. So how he swims well. The answer is well. So he ran quickly. So the adverb used in the second sentence is quickly because how he ran. He ran quickly. Next is she spoke softly. The adverb used in the third sentence is softly. Next is preposition. A preposition is a word or group of words used before a noun, pronoun, or a noun phrase to show direction, time, place, location, spatial relationship, or to introduce an object. Some examples of prepositions are words like in, at, on, off, and to. So examples, these are the examples of prepositions. Out, against, during, without, before, under, around, among. So let's try to use it in a sentence. So examples. Marie is against with the legalization of divorce in the Philippines. So uh, the preposition used in the first sentence is against. Next is Quezon City was placed under community quarantine because of the pandemic. So the preposition used in the second sentence is under. Next is Dan will have a vacation on Boracay next week. So the preposition used in the third sentence is on. Okay. So next is conjunction. Conjunction. In grammar, a conjunction is a part of speech that connects words, phrases, or clauses that are called the conjuncts of the conjunctions. The term discourse marker is mostly used for conjunctions joining sentences. So conjunctions is usual. It refers to connecting words, and these are the examples of conjunctions: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. So in order for us to understand, let's try to use it in a sentence. Examples. Diane and Mika will travel to Japan next year. So the conjunction used in the first sentence is and, which is here. And Diane and Mika. It connects Diane and Mika. Either eat his food or he will be punished. So the conjunction used in the sentence is either or or. So next is it was summer, but the wind is cold. So the conjunction used in the third sentence is but. Next is interjection. An interjection is a part of speech that demonstrates the emotion or feeling of the author. These words or phrases can stand alone or be placed before or after a sentence. Many times, as within the examples or interjections below, you'll notice many interjections are followed by an exclamation point. Examples: hooray, we won the game. So hooray expresses emotion of joy. So next is alas, I failed the exam. Alas is expression of sorrow. Wow, what a beautiful car. So wow is an expression of surprise. Okay, so next is, oh, I forgot to bring my purse. Next, O is expression of sorrow because he forgot to bring his purse. Next is article or determiner. A determiner, also called determinative, is a word, phrase, or affix that occurs together with a noun or noun phrase and serves to express the reference of that noun or noun phrase in the context. So examples of determiners are a or a, an, and the. So let's try to use it in the sentence. Examples. An amazing show was performed by the first performers. So, the determiner used in the first sentence is an. Next is the Ben and Ben Band will have their concert again next month. So, the determiner used in the second sentence is the. Okay, next is a great preacher should also be a great follower. So, the determiner or the article used in the third sentence is ah. Okay, so that's all for our discussion for today. I hope you have learned something. Thank you for listening. Okay, so that will be all for this discussion. Thank you.